closure in effect, the intersection completely blocked off for the investigation. Following more breaking news, this time out of Mississauga, where a man has been rushed to hospital after a two-vehicle crash involving a motorcycle. Peel police tell us the rider has life-threatening injuries. The roads are also closed for this investigation. More breaking news from North York this time. Toronto police investigating a shooting that's left a man with serious injuries that happened in the Jane and Shepherd area. Officers have put a rush on paramedics. And another shooting in the city, this time near Jane and Finch, has left a man being rushed to hospital with life-threatening injuries. And there may be road closures in the area. Police are telling drivers to use alternate routes. 680 News Time, 11:45.
Those are interesting.
Time for sports from Sports at
30
590.
seconds in the city. Holy fuck.
Did you notice any change in that in winter when we had a cold spell here?
Yeah, so when it's cold, there's definitely more battery use, right? Because you are heating your car up. It's cold outside. The battery is cold. I don't know all the science behind that, but it's just you don't get as much range when it's cold out. So he's got some good concerns, right? The prairies, it's big, right?
Yeah.
And you'd be driving for, 100 kilometers or a few hundred kilometers. But, I have to cite Norway. More than 40% of new cars sold in Norway in 2019 were EVs.
Yeah.
And it's cold there in the wintertime.
It's probably colder than the prairies.
Yeah, and there's a great article up on a website called electrek.co, electrek.co. And they actually interviewed a Norwegian that owns a Model 3 Tesla up in the Arctic Circle. And basically, it just said, got to plan your trips out. He didn't have a problem. He actually liked the fact, though, that it was much easier to start his car in cold weather. He didn't have to worry about warming it up.
This is the key thing that I think a lot of people...
I want to see what happens when a Tesla's wheels get frozen.
You have an electric vehicle. For the most part, you have an app. I have an app for my Kia. You have one for your Tesla. I can, if it's plugged in my driveway, like I have a carport, so it's just there, I can actually remotely schedule that at 7 o'clock in the morning, start warming up the car. I'm not in it. I'm not even turning on the car. No, it's turning on my seat heat. It's turning on my internal heat system in the car and
Defrosting the windows.
defrosting the windows. So I come out. I don't even have to brush off my car because it's all warm.
Yeah.
And you could just have it sitting doing that for a long time on the batteries or in these things.
Well, this one article here,
So how much uranium does that use?
basically saying he came back from a trip back to, he was parked at the airport up there in Kirkenes, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. But the temperatures had dropped to minus 32 Celsius while he was gone. But when he got back, while he was waiting for his luggage, he just went to the app, told it to warm up his Tesla. He came out 10 minutes later and completely ready to go.
Yeah.
So that is a nice feature. And to your point, the EV
No gasoline-powered car
They're
could possibly
for
do it.
Tesla anyway, superchargers everywhere. I'm looking on the map in Alberta, and they're in every major city, obviously, multiple ones, Edmonton and Calgary. They're in Red Deer, they're in Medicine Hat, and they're going to all the little small cities as well. So you're never more than 100 kilometers or a couple hundred kilometers away from a Tesla supercharger. And then there's all the second level 2 chargers that are available. They're not as fast, no question, but they're kind of everywhere now.
Well, and the thing is too is like you're not spending an hour at these superchargers. You can, like you said, you go grab a coffee, maybe go to the restroom.
I was out in 20 minutes.
Yeah, and you're back up to top.
Yeah. Or in in Princeton, I just watched some Netflix.
That's another perk that Tesla owners have.
Yeah. So you know what? We're not totally there yet with electric vehicles. So I do feel for you. And Alberta, obviously, more oil and gas.
Yeah.
As well. And there's greater distances. So maybe for Mark, a combustion engine is still the way to go. I don't know if he's driving a truck or what have you, but Tesla's coming out with trucks. Rivian is coming out with trucks. There's a new Hummer as well. I think the next 5 years will be interesting. You're going to get better and better EVs. Like mine only does 350 kilometers, but the newer cars, you can get 500 kilometers plus range on there. And when you get to that point, does range even matter anymore? You can pretty well get anywhere. Well, and there's always chargers around.
Well, and that was sort of the value proposition I chose with my particular Kia. I got the lower end Kia. There's 2 models of my particular 2021 vehicle.
Yeah.
The bigger one gets about 500 kilometers.
That's a lot.
Mine gets 300,
Yeah.
Well, I bought it in the summertime. I was getting over 300 kilometers. In the wintertime, it dropped down to about 250 just because it was, and again, these are estimates. These aren't actuals because there's a lot of different variables and the car will actually tell you all that type of stuff.
So no question. The range goes down in the wintertime when it's cold.
Yeah.
And does it get cold out in Alberta on the prairies? Hell yeah. So you just got to look at your uses, right? How many kilometers are you driving a day? And you should look at it. Just maybe a gas car or truck is better for you right now, but I'm saving so much on gas right now. It's insane, John. I'm saving thousands of dollars a year.
Well, the other thing that I also factored in with my purchase was like I can go to the office 4 times in a given week and not have to charge. But the reality is I charge every night. It takes much less time. I'm literally using a wall outlet. I'm not using a level 2 or a level 3 charger for this. And I'm always topped up.
Yeah, like my regular, I haven't even put in a level 2 charger in my house yet. I'm getting about 10 kilometers an hour charge. Overnight, I'm fully charged up again.
Yeah.
I get about 100 kilometers, over, or even 120 kilometers.
Yeah, I think the key message is that things are changing and they're going to be changing. Your gas station's also going to become your electricity station soon, if it hasn't already.
And most shopping malls and that, they're building it in, right?
And the great thing is the shopping malls are free. It's like, imagine going to a gas station and getting free gas just because you're going to go shopping at the mall nearby.
Yeah.
That's what I love about a lot of the malls.
Well, the problem is I get sucked in and I'm start buying stuff. Well, that is the only downside right now.
That's true.
But it's not a big deal.
No. At least in an urban center. Definitely Mark has a point. Maybe if he lives in a small, he doesn't tell us where he lives exactly, but he just says he lives in the prairies.
If you live in Calgary or Edmonton or Red Deer, you're good.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to get hate mail about this, but
Mark, let us know where you live and we'll...
Yeah, you might not be ready yet, but I'm saying in the next 5 years, there's going to be some compelling arguments to look at an electric vehicle, not only cost-wise, but so much more selection. That's the challenge right now. There's not huge amounts of selection out there, and the prices are high for them.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is that a lot of these electric vehicles right now, except for maybe the Tesla, are just conversions from gas vehicles.
Yeah.
They're starting to come out with vehicles that have been designed from the ground up to be EVs. And that's going to change a lot I'm
going to take another break. When we come back, more Tech to Talk. Stay tuned.
License 10349.
I'm going to unsubscribe from your email list. Motherfucker. So yeah, they'll leave the thing running for no reason but just to melt the snow. Let's do some logical thought process here. The electricity, some of it, let's just assume some, they consider nuclear power to be carbon free. It's not, and no matter which way you look at it. But, the problem is it releases heat that didn't come from the sun's radiation. There's uranium, all these deposits. Which I don't know how much. I've been trying to get an answer to this for a long time. How much heat could we release? That's kind of like the question about the lake and ICBM. If a Russian nuke fell into, if it fell short, what if somebody's finger slipped and fired off a missile at Washington? But thank God the navigation system broke, or you dummied it or something, and it falls into the lake, and then it goes off anyway. What happens to our fucking? It's 800 feet deep, 90 kilometers wide, 180 kilometers long, roughly shaped like a football, and it sits on a fault line. So all the electricity that, if it is made by nuclear, there's constantly heat being released by the atomic pile. They have cooling towers. That's what those big towers are for. They're not to get rid of radioactive material. They're to get rid of, they used to think it was like radiation making up of it. It's heat. It's to get rid of heat. So instead of just brushing the snow off with your vegan-powered, muffin-eating, fucking asshole self, you're gonna. That didn't make a lot of sense. That you're gonna heat up the whole world with uranium, at least partially. 1/4 of the province is powered by uranium. The electricity is just free. It's free. They get the subsidy for buying the car, and then all the it's free. It's free because we all go to that same mall. We're paying for their fucking electricity. They contrast that to the Toronto transit system runs off. How do I phrase this? It's funded 80 cents on the dollar comes from the fare box, which is more than any other transit system in North America. It tends to be more like 20 or 25 cents or something. The money you put in the box doesn't pay for your whole trip. But in Toronto, that's where most of the money comes from. We pay for everything here. So how much diesel fuel got burnt to transport that material back and forth, all the rest of it. Oh, you heard there's 2 shootings. They're not going to tell us nothing else. They won't tell us nothing else. I heard I heard the one as breaking news like 10 minutes ago about Kane and Finch, and then the other one that they said first came second in my mind. It's just free. What's supposed to do with that money? Building factories in China. Great, that helps us. There will be situations it makes sense to use electric vehicles in cold environments. If you're so far removed from society, I guess, that the nearest fueling station is further away than, like, I don't know, hypothetically the range on your electric vehicle, but you have solar panels or windmills or some shit, it might make more sense to just keep recharging your electric vehicle and stay close to home or some shit. Because the further you go to get fuel, the more fuel you're burning to carry the weight of the fuel. But if you're having like diesel fuel trucked in to fuel the generator to recharge your electric car, I wonder how many of these people up in Norway, north of the Arctic Circle, Siberian fuel tankers dumping off crude oil. Yeah, they'll sell us oil and gas. They don't want to use it themselves. I'm just dealing with my boys and how you hear it so It's just free. It's like getting free gas, not really. All these things are big scams. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so woke. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so woke. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so woke. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so woke. What's the last thing I heard, please? I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so woke. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so woke. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so woke. I'm just dealing with my boys and I can get it so woke. So it's gonna be like living on Mars, like Biosphere 2, or like Blade. You're gonna have your Biosphere house with its solar panels to charge up your car. You'll go through the airlock into the car, and you'll get to wherever you're going, and everybody's gonna have masks and 2 meters separated and everything. But you still have to touch the charger with your hand. Like, you have to touch the charger. It doesn't do that automatically. You see, it seems like I don't try hard. I don't. The reasons why I don't. Holy fuck.
I'm just chilling with my boys and I can get it so woke, so woke, so woke. I'm just chilling with my boys and I can get it so woke, so woke, so woke. I'm just chilling with my boys and I can get it so woke, so woke, so woke. I'm just chilling with my boys and I can get it so woke, so woke, so woke.
Power surge is funny. Didn't have any the whole time I was not doing this. I was doing something other than this.
Yeah. Get it, yeah. You need to relax. Shut up, bitch. I don't need no feedback. I'm trying to put my seat back. Don't worry about that other shit. They'll never get it back. Rise like a phoenix from the ashes, like they said I never do. The ones always talking never got a clue. Who the fuck am I? Nah. Who the fuck is you? Riding with my thugs. We just trying to get this money. You can put that on me. We keep the artillery. If they cross me, then it's R.I.P. That's for my real thugs. The ones that squeeze the door and bleed just to smell the rose blood. In search of finer things, maybe God will notice me if I blink. That's what it sound like when the pistol sing. Mama checking the obituary, so but she don't see me. She cry when they talk about the boy on TV. Wake up some mornings and I don't wanna be me. They say the criminal or gangster is all they ever be. Like there's nothing positive in me. I am positive you not get rid of me, at least not that easily. I just wake up and crush the day, in a rush to get paid. Tell the devil he can wait. I got people on my serve on the way. I just wake up and crush the day, in a rush to get paid. Tell God to look away. Somebody wanna see it, yeah. I just wake up and crush the day. I just wake up and crush the day, in a rush to get paid. Tell the devil he can wait. I got people on my serve on the way. I just wake up and crush the day, in a rush to get paid. Tell God to look away. This ain't what he wanna see. I just wake up and crush the day. Yeah, they say home is where the heart is, but back home I was living heartless. We all hard-headed, trying to prove whose head's the hardest. If thugging was an art, you could consider me an artiste. Most my friends grew up not knowing who their father is. Nothing in their fridge, you can see their ribs. Yep, this is how we live. Coming from a place that had nothing left to give, nothing left to take. There's nothing on the plate, but I'm dreaming of a steak. Everything at stake, I gamble with my life. Either 5 stars or behind bars. Lots of jobs, we holding on. Puff, pass it on, cause I feel pain too. What I've been through ain't what you've been through, but I feel you, yeah, it's true. Everything outside your window waiting to kill you. You think you know, but you ain't got a clue. Hear me out, Sherlock. Ain't no such thing as a search shot. It's a cold block, and I just want what you got. It's real talk. Don't make a scene, just give it up. That's how it is. Where the fuck I'm from? Where the fuck I'm from?
Disease risk. While the law does provide examples of how these powers can be exercised, such as maybe closing business, the powers are specific.
The province can redeploy staff from home care settings to help support overtaxed hospitals. There's also a new rule that allows hospitals to transfer patients without consent if they have to. Michelle Craig, the Canadian Press, Toronto.
Incidentally, Quebec is reporting over 1,700 new cases and 13 deaths. Hundreds of anti-lockdown demonstrators in Toronto marched.
Well, my blood pressure's gone down somewhat, but it can spike at any time because today and yesterday have just, I think it's disturbing when you're having these people who are in charge, but aren't elected to be in charge, and yet they wield so much more power than people understood.
like an hourly enhancement fee. Going into this week, children were told they were returning to school after the Easter holiday, only to be told in Peel Region by unelected medical officer of health, Dr. Lowe.
You don't elect these
Today,
people, bro.
following
It's
that,
not how this should
Dr.
be
Davila
done.
in Toronto had made the same order effective tomorrow, and another order is in place in Wellington County. So we have a situation where the province decided, and the Minister of Education decided, that it was appropriate and safe to have children in school, to have education workers in school. And now we have a situation where that's not the case. We have medical officers now taking the position that despite being unelected, despite the elected officials saying it's appropriate, that apparently is not safe, overruling individuals with no democratic accountability.
And today it looked more political because the premier was out there during his media avail talking about vaccines and their approach to targeting hospitals and all the rest of it. Talking to schools kind of endorsed that they are.
I just wake up and crush the day in the rush to get paid till the devil look away. I got people on my sorrow on the way. I just wake up and crush the day in the rush to get paid. Tell God to look away. Somebody wanna see it, yeah. I just wake up and crush the day. I just wake up and crush the day in the rush to get paid till the devil he can wait. I got people on my sorrow on the way. I just wake up and crush the day in the rush to get paid. Tell God to look away. This ain't what